10's this example is out of 1.5, volumes of right pyramids and cones, and it's a bit of a challenging example. It's a little backwards question, where this time they're giving us the volume of a cone, telling us it's 628 cubic millimeters, the height of it is 16 millimeters, and they want us to find the radius of the base to the nearest tenth of a millimeter. I very much recommend you draw a picture if they don't give you one. And so I start by drawing a cone and labeling what I know. So what I know is that the height is 16 millimeters. We're looking for the radius, so I put a little R there where the radius should be, and we know that the volume is 628 millimeters cubed. The next step is I grab my formula sheet. So I'm not empty-handed. I have the formula for the volume of a cone. Volume equals 1/3 pi r squared h. And I have all of these things except for one. I have the volume, obviously 1/3 and pi are numbers that are already in the equation, and 16 as the height. So I'm looking for this r. So I need to undo everything that's being done to r. So for example, the opposite of dividing by 3 would be to multiply by 3. So I might do this in steps, do one piece at a time. Multiplying by 16, multiplying by pi, I could divide by 16 pi. You do that all at once. We have r squared now all by itself. And the opposite of squaring it, or the inverse of squaring it, is to square root it. So if I take the square root of that whole mess, I'll have the square root of 3 times 628 divided by 16 pi. I recommend not doing it all in one step like that. But if you do, make sure you use brackets, especially around that denominator, because your calculator will not execute the bed mass properly. Personally, I would take this 628 and say times 3 equals, divide by 16 equals, divide by pi equals, square root equals. And either way, as long as you're careful with the brackets over here, you will get to an answer that rounded to the nearest tenth is about 6.1 millimeters. Do be careful that your units are consistent throughout the question. This question was about millimeters cubed and millimeters. You don't want to somehow magically turn it into centimeters or meters just because you're more used to those units.